I just saw Alien Romulus, and my chest. Oh. All right, so I don't have a alien growing inside me, all right? But that's what this movie made me feel, all right? It made me feel ooey gooey on the inside. It was a really good time. It was a really good ride. One of the first things that stuck out to me was the cinematography. It was so beautiful. And forgive me for not doing my research right away because I just got back from watching it. I'll put the name here. The cinematographer killed it. I mean, it was so beautifully shot, so beautifully done. Visually, it was just like so much eye candy. It was all tactile. It felt very like lived in and abandoned and gooey and alienish, and it was great. It was great. One of the cooler things that I didn't expect from this movie was kind of showing humanity in a different way than most alien movies ever show humanity, which is outside of a spaceship. So we get to see a little bit of like this mining colony in the middle of, space somewhere, and it's not good. It seems like capitalism won in the end in this alien universe. So super grimy, super gross, but it was really cool to see that. It was a different thing. I really love the characters in this movie. Specifically, I think the standout for me was the android. So good. The acting was so good because he had to like switch on and off from being what you think it is to maybe not something else. And I don't want to, like, it's a little mysterious, I know, but his acting was just top notch. The rest of the cast did killer too. And the main character, which I have here, I didn't forget, Cailee Spaeny from Priscilla fame and just recently Civil War, which I really love too. She played an amazing role too as the main character, Rain, in this movie. I do have a thought, and not really much criticism, and like maybe a couple nitpicky things, but nothing overall really negative to say about this movie. But before I get into it, this is a warning. There are spoilers ahead. So one of the things that I kind of sat down and mulled through after, I actually went to go watch this movie with a friend of mine, and we sat down and had dinner afterwards, and we talked about the film. And one of the things that he mentioned, which it was really an afterthought for me, I kind of didn't really piece it together until we had this conversation, but the crux of the conversation was, we saw this already. Like, this film mirrors literally the first Alien in a lot of ways, beat by beat, and most Alien films for that matter. There's a crew of misfits, or a crew, and they discover alien eggs or the face huggers. The face huggers do their thing, an alien pops out, and there's hell on this ship, right? And someone has to make it out alive, usually the main character. And that's usually how it goes. Now, in terms of the beat similarities, there's also a lot of things too, like a couple of nods to the old film, specifically this one scene where Andy saves Rain, and he says the infamous line of "Get away from her, bitch."
Get away from her, you bitch!
Yeah, a lot of pandering to the audience, but it was great. It was like it didn't feel too forced or anything like that. And then a really cool like kind of small thing was that Rain had the Reeboks from the second movie, so it was super cool in that sense. But really the crux of this whole thing is that we've seen this already, though. So sure, there's new people, a new thing, a new threat, as it were, but we saw this already. And one of the things that's like a clear callback is that Rook, the android from the first movie, is in this movie. And I'm not sure if it's the same one or if it's just the same model, but it definitely knows exactly what happened in the first Alien movie, because this movie takes place between 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. So it mirrors way too closely that first movie, and it becomes this thing where like, okay, well, yeah, like I know what's gonna happen now. Like, I don't know how they're gonna get there, but I know they will, right? And I know that she's going to survive in the end, right? She might not, but she did. And so kind of leaves you with this question of what would you have done instead? So I don't like to say that things suck or that you know that it was terrible or any kind of negative. It's more like constructive criticism, because I think about what I would want to do as a filmmaker myself. What would I want to do, right? What could I do? And I think we came down to the answer being probably nothing, because the real answer is these movies and these franchises should be left alone, like at this point. Maybe revisit them years from now, but like what more can you keep saying in this movie? And like Prometheus tried to do something different, but nobody liked it. It looked really cool, but it also was kind of, you know, there's a lot of holes in it. And so it's kind of like, what do we do then? You know, like, this is a killing machine. All it knows is how to kill. So that's what the movie's going to be about, right? And then sure, there could be like underlying themes of other things, but like we saw those things already too, right? The corporation is hell-bent on like trying to control this, right? And what ends, right? In this movie, we do find out that the corporation is trying to improve humanity, but it's like, okay, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, sure, like that's cool, but I don't know. Is that enough for you? I don't know. It for me, it wasn't like one of those things that caught me. So when we had that conversation, I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, well, you know, what is this gonna be? You know, and it sucks because like it's such a cool franchise, but it's like I wouldn't know what to do, honestly. Like, what direction would I take it? So that's really like my only kind of criticism about it is like, you know, how much longer can we keep doing this and just like milking these things until there's like nothing left, you know? Even though this thing was great, it was still super kind of predictable in that way. So I don't know. The only one other thing too about it, I feel like there was just one scene where the facehuggers are out and about and they're like pretty much taking over the ship. Specifically this one part where they have to go through, the main characters have to go through one part to get to the other part, and they find out that the facehuggers can like sense heat, and they come up with the plan to fool them and all that stuff. And that scene was really suspenseful, and I really, really liked it. I just wish it would have stayed on a little bit longer because it cut to the other part of the crew really quickly. There was a lot of really cool visual things in this movie too, like when the chest burster scene happens in this movie was very, very cool. There's like an X-ray gun thing, but it's in the trailer. Even though we are in spoiler section, but it was in the trailer. It was visually really cool, but like that's what I mean. Like outside of that, then what else, right? I'm glad that this new director got this opportunity because I think they killed it. I loved how tactile everything was. Everything was like actual puppets and real things on set, and it was really awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. But you know, what I said before, like what now though? What now? And you know, what are we gonna do after this? What's the next? Because there is gonna be another Alien movie, like there is. So what is that gonna be? But anyway, that's just my take on this one. I really did enjoy it though, so just everyone watch it. And please write down in the comments what you think about this movie, and what do you think about kind of like where Hollywood is going with all these like franchises that are just kind of average at this point. Let me know. Thank you again for subscribing, for liking, and I'll see you guys on the next movie.